Hi, all of you, hello viewers. This is Sridhar Chintala, Assistant Professor of Physics, ABV Government Degree College, Janagam. So, this is the video lecture made on the applications of Schrodinger wave equation, and this topic comes under sixth semester of BSc Physics. The paper titled as Modern Physics, and it is in the Unit 2, Wave Mechanics. So already we discussed about the Schrodinger's wave equation, and the Schrodinger wave equation consisting of two types of equations: Schrodinger time dependent equation and Schrodinger time independent equation, where time independent equation is the equation which is do not depend on time explicitly, and the time dependent equation we have the time term in the equation. So we already discussed the Schrodinger's equations, time dependent and time independent. So now in this video lecture, we are going to discuss about the applications of Schrodinger wave equation. So applications of Schrodinger's wave equation, BSc Physics, Modern Physics, 6th semester, Unit 2, Wave Mechanics. And my lecture is on these two topics. One is the estimation of ground state energy of harmonic oscillator, and the second one is the estimation of ground state energy of hydrogen atom. So to discuss about the estimation of ground state energy of hydrogen atom, or the ground state energy of the harmonic oscillator, we should have a knowledge about the Schrodinger's wave equations. So which are, the first one is the Schrodinger time independent equation, and the second one is the Schrodinger's time dependent equation. And if you consider the Schrodinger's time independent equation, that is given by del square psi plus 2m by h cut square into E minus V of psi is equals to 0, where m is the mass of the particle and h cut is the Planck's constant, and psi is the wave function, E is the total energy, and V is the potential energy of the particle concerned. So this is the time independent equation, since the time term is not seen in the equation. So this is time independent equation, and then the time dependent equation. So in this dependent equation, we write it simply as h psi is equals to E psi, where h is called the Hamiltonian operator and E is the eigen value, and this is h cut square by 2m minus h cut square by 2m into del square plus V of psi is equals to I h cut dou psi by dou t. This is the time dependent equation. So now we are applying these equations in order to solve the problems given. They are the estimation of ground state energy of the harmonic oscillator, as well as the estimation of ground state energy of hydrogen atom. So in the case of the harmonic oscillator, we directly deal with the coordinates, the rectangular, the Cartesian coordinates, whereas in order to solve the hydrogen atom, we have to consider the spherical polar coordinates. So let us discuss one by one. Estimation of ground state energy of harmonic oscillator. Then what is an harmonic oscillator? What is an harmonic oscillator is, an oscillator is a body which is oscillating in between two fixed positions, to and fro motion. For a simple harmonic oscillator, if you consider, the restoring force is directly proportional to minus displacement. The simple harmonic oscillator, the restoring force is acting on the particle in opposite direction to the displacement of the particle. So the restoring force f of x is equals to minus k into x, where k is the force per unit displacement called as the force constant. But from Newton's second law, what we can write as f of x is equals to ma, where m into a is the acceleration. So acceleration we can write as d square x by dt square. So from equation 1 we have m into d square x by dt square is equals to minus kx. So when you bring this to the either side, other side, so we'll get d square x by dt square plus k by m into x is equals to 0. So this is called the differential equation of a simple harmonic motion or simple harmonic oscillator. So in general, we consider this k by m as the omega square. So we can write d square x by dt square plus omega square x is equals to 0. This is in the case of simple harmonic oscillator. And if the potential energy function is V of x and the V of x is given by f of x is equals to minus dV of x by dx. So since this force is a conservative one, we can express this force as the negative gradient of potential. So f of x is equals to minus k into x. This is given by equation 1, and from the definition of the conservative force we are writing minus dV of x by dx. So from this we can derive an expression for V of x as, so we have this one, this dV of x is equals to f of x into dx. So dV of x is equals to f of x is the kx into dx. So dV of x integral dV of x is equals to integral kx into dx, and this gives a value for the potential as V of x is equals to half kx square. So this is just like a equation called y is equals to 4a x square. So this gives a parabola. The plot of V against x is a parabola. So this is the potential energy and this is the total energy, and this potential energy is a function of displacement x. So upon substituting the values of x from the maximum to minimum what is called displacements, that is called the amplitude. So on the negative side of the uh, oscillator we have x is equals to minus a, and the positive side we have x is equals to plus a. So the energy increases from the equilibrium position to maximum position, and again it decreases to 0 and again increases in the negative direction. So that means the potential energy is maximum whenever this x is equals to maximum. The x maximum value is given by x is equals to plus or minus a. So the particle traces a parabolic potential well. The particle oscillates in between x is equals to minus a and x is equals to plus a. So the energy is given by E is equals to half k a square. If you consider the potential energy, E is given by half k a square. So let us solve this harmonic oscillator problem using quantum mechanics. That is the Schrodinger's equation. So the Schrodinger's equation is given by d square psi by dx square plus 2m by h cut square into E minus v psi is equals to 0. This is the Schrodinger's time independent equation in which there is no time term which is appearing explicitly. So this is the Schrodinger's time independent equation, and we are applying the Schrodinger's time independent equation to the harmonic oscillator problem. For the harmonic oscillator, we have V is equals to half kx square, and let us substitute the value of V in this equation. We'll get d square psi by dx square plus 2m by h cut square into E minus, in place of V we are substituting the half kx square. So E minus half kx square of psi is equals to 0, and this is d square psi by dx square plus, we are bringing this 2m by h cut square inside the bracket. So 2m E by h cut square minus mk So 2 1 by 2 gets cancelled. So mk by h cat square into x square of psi is equals to 0. So this is equation number 4. So here we are taking the constants as one. We are defining the other constant, since m is constant, e is constant, h cat square is also a constant. So we are defining another constant by taking all the constants into one. So let us take 2me by h cat square as alpha, and under root mk by h cat square as beta. So if you consider these two, the equation changes as substituting the values of alpha and beta in equation 4, we get d square psi by dx square plus alpha minus beta square x square psi is equals to 0. And introducing a dimensionless independent variable xi, such that xi is equals to under root beta into x. So we are introducing a variable as xi is equals to under root b into x. So where we can substitute in place of b square and x square, we can substitute the xi square. So d square by dx square is equals to beta into d square by d xi square. Okay. So when you differentiate this equation, you will get this one. So this is d square by dx square is equals to beta into d square by d xi square, since we are having a root 1 here. So substituting equation 6 in equation 5, this is equation 6 and this is equation 5. So when you substitute equation 6 in equation 5, you will get beta into d square psi by d xi square plus alpha minus beta square into xi square by b. So into psi is equals to 0, and this is d square psi by d xi square plus, so we have a beta here, so we are taking that beta as common. So we left with alpha by beta minus xi square into psi is equals to 0. So let us look this step once again. So this is beta d square psi by d xi square plus alpha minus beta square into xi square by beta. So this square and this beta cancelled. We left with alpha minus beta into xi square psi. So when you take this beta as common, you will be having beta into alpha by beta. Since there is no beta term here, so alpha by beta into xi square into psi. Xi square into psi. So this we have in this one. And we are having beta here and we are having beta here. We are taking this beta as common and equating into 0. So we are left with d square psi by d xi square plus alpha by beta minus xi square into psi is equals to 0. And this solution of equation 7 can be expressed in terms of Hermite polynomials, so which is beyond our syllabus, scope of our syllabus. So we are taking the direct solution, direct equation of Hermite polynomials. So the general solution of equation 7 is given by psi of xi is equals to c into hn of xi into e power xi square by 2. So this is the Hermite's polynomial and the solution of the Hermite polynomial. So this equation is in the form of Hermite polynomial, and hence the solution can be taken as psi of xi is equals to c into h of into xi, h of n of xi into e power xi square by 2. So this is the solution for the harmonic oscillator, and we discuss, or we improve the solution from simplification. And the solution is valid only for n is equals to 0, 1, 2 and so on and so forth. The restriction on n gives a corresponding restriction on the value of energy. So in this case, we have alpha by beta is equals to 2n plus 1. The restriction is given as alpha by beta is equals to 2n plus 1. So where alpha we have alpha is equals to 2me by h cut square, and beta is equals to under root mk by h cut square. So this is equals to 2n, and this is equals to, we can write 2 into n plus half. And if you simplify this, you will get, let us simplify that. So this is 2me by h cut square, so divided by, so 1 by this one, this will come like this, h cut square by 2 mk here, so mk under root. So here h cut square is under root, so it means square and root cancelled, h cut square is cancelled. So if you bring this m inside this, we get m by k. So this one is 2e by h cut into m by k under root is equals to 2 into n plus half. So here 2 into n plus half, and on the left hand side we are having this 2e by h cut into under root m by k into 2 into n plus half, and this 2 gets cancelled, and we have e is equals to n plus half into h cut goes this side, so n plus half into h cut, and if this term goes this side, this becomes under root k by m. So this is our solution. E is equals to n plus half into h cut into under root k by m. So that is the energy value of the harmonic oscillator using the what is called the Schrodinger equation. That means solved using the quantum mechanics. So, but frequency of the oscillator is given by nu is equals to under root 2 pi into k by m. So we can replace this by 2 pi nu. So this is nu is equals to 1 by 2 pi into under root k by m. So we can replace this under root k by m is equals to 2 pi nu, where 2 pi nu is equals to omega. So that means this is E is equals to n plus half into h cut 2 pi nu, that is 2 pi nu is omega, so that we can write E is equals to n plus half into h cut omega, or otherwise E is equals to n plus half into h into nu. Since I'll write here one second, we have E is equals to n plus half into h cut. This h cut can be written as h by 2 pi, and nu in the place of k by m we can write 2 pi into nu. So 2 pi cancelled, and we are left with h nu, so that E is equals to n plus half into h nu, or otherwise if you want to write this as h cut in terms of h cut only, so this is h cut into k by m is equals to, this is 2 pi nu. So this 2 pi nu is equals to omega. So this will be h cut omega. So we can have energy as E is equals to n plus half into h nu, or E is equals to n plus half into h cut omega. where omega is equals to 2 pi nu or nu is equals to omega by 2 pi. So these are the energy values of the harmonic oscillator. And if you observe the spectrum, right? So equation 9 is showing that the wave mechanical oscillator can take only certain discrete energies separated by intervals h nu, where nu is the frequency of the classical oscillator and h is the Planck's constant. So in the previous equation we have E is equal to n plus half into h nu or n plus half into h cut omega. So where the energy can be, we can have n is equals to 0 comma 1 comma 2 comma 3 and so on and so forth. When you substitute 0 you will get h nu, h nu by 2. When you substitute 1 it is 3 by 2 h nu, and n is equals to 2, 5 by 2 h nu. So it means the energy will have a discrete values. That means the wave mechanical oscillator can take only certain discrete energies separated by intervals h nu. So this h is a Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of the classical oscillator. So the energy levels of harmonic oscillator according to quantum mechanics are shown under in a picture or in a graphical format. So this is the graph which is showing the energy eigenvalues of the harmonic oscillator. So this is for potential is 0, and this is for E is equals to 0, and sorry, n is equals to 0, this is for n is equals to 1, and this is for n is equals to 2. So the energy levels are equally spaced and quantized. The difference between each level is equals to half h nu, sorry, h nu. So in case of lowest energy, n is equals to 0, and lowest energy state n is equals to 0, E naught is equals to h nu by 2 or half h cut omega. That is called the 0 point energy. So this is about the ground state energy of the harmonic oscillator. So the harmonic oscillator which obeys or which satisfies the force law as f of x is equals to minus kx. And for that we have a differential equation as d square x by dt square is equals to omega square x is equals to 0, where the omega square is given by k by m. And if you calculate the potential for a conservative force, that is given by v of x is equals to half k x square. And when you substitute this potential in the time independent equation, you are having a Hermite polynomial, and the solution of the Hermite polynomial is given as psi of xi is equals to hn, we have this one, right? Psi of xi is equals to c into hn of xi into e power minus xi square by 2. So from that, if you solve for the energy, the restrictions on n gives the corresponding restriction of energy, and we have alpha by beta is equals to 2n plus 1, and that 2n plus 1 condition gives the energy values as n plus 1 into h nu or n plus half into h cut omega. And from that we can say that the harmonic oscillator can take only certain discrete energies separated by intervals h nu. And when we substitute n is equals to 0, we get E naught is equal to h nu by 2. That is called the 0 point energy. So this is about the harmonic oscillator, the ground state energy of the harmonic oscillator. And next we are moving on to the ground state energy of the hydrogen atom. So estimation of ground state energy of hydrogen atom. So when you consider the hydrogen atom as it is in the form of a sphere, so the spherical shape, so we have to consider the spherical polar coordinate. So where Cartesian coordinates are having only r and theta, where the spherical polar coordinates are having r, theta, and phi. So where r is the radius and theta is the angle, and phi is the azimuthal angle. So in terms of spherical polar coordinates only, we can calculate the ground state energy of the hydrogen atom. So the hydrogen atom consists of one proton and one electron. Hence it is an example of two body problem. Since only one electron, is surrounded by one proton. So this can be considered as an example of two body problem. So there are two bodies, one is electron and another one is the proton. And the Coulombic potential between potential of hydrogen atom, which is a function of distance small r, only can be written as, so the Coulombic potential of hydrogen atom is come from the Coulombic attractive force between the electron and the proton. So that is given by F of r is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by r square. So I'll write here. The Coulombic force is, I will take this as this one. So F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, that we are denoting with small k. So this is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by r square, where r is the distance of separation. And we are having the Q1 as the charge of the nucleus and Q2 as the charge of the electron. So in case of any atom, in general, if you want to write the nuclear charge as Ze and the charge of the electron as E, so that this is Ze into E, Ze square. So this is Ze square. This I like this. Where is this? Right. So Ze square by r square, where is F is equals to K into Ze square by r square. As this is a conservative force, we can write that potential as the force as the negative gradient of potential, and from that if you calculate for VR, you'll get V of r is equals to KZe square by r, but with a negative sign. So that is the potential experienced by hydrogen atom is given by V of r is equals to minus KZe square by small r, where K is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space, and Z is atomic number, and r is the rate, distance between proton and electron. So this is the potential experienced by an electron due to the nucleus of the hydrogen atom. And this is the time independent Schrodinger equation. This is the del square psi of r plus 2 mu by h cut square into E minus V of r into psi of r is equals to 0, where this mu is the reduced mass of the hydrogen atom. Since the finite mass of the nucleus comes into picture, then we have to consider the reduced mass, and the reduced mass is given by m1 plus m2 by m1 m2, where m1 is the mass of the nucleus and m2 is the mass of the electron. So this is the time independent Schrodinger equation, del square psi of r plus 2 mu by h cut square into E minus V of r into psi of r is equals to 0. Right. So since the potential is spherically symmetric, expressing the wave function in spherical polar coordinates and using the method of separation of variables, we have psi as a function of psi of r comma theta comma phi. So these are the spherical polar coordinates, and we are using the method of separation of variables. So we can write the radial part as r of r and the angular part as the y of theta comma phi. So psi is given as the product of radial part and the angular part. So where r of r is equals to r nl of r is equals to, that is the radial function, and y of theta comma phi is equals to yl of ml. Theta comma phi is it is the angular part in spherical harmonics. So thus we are expressing the wave function as in terms of the spherical polar coordinates, and using this separation method of separation of variables. So we have the Schrodinger equation in spherical polar coordinates as del square psi of r comma theta comma phi is equals to 1 by r square dou by dou r of r square dou psi by dou r plus 1 by r square into 1 by sine theta into dou by dou theta of sine theta into dou psi by dou theta plus 1 by sin theta into dou square psi by dou phi square. So this is the value of del square in terms of spherical polar coordinates. When you consider the Cartesian coordinates, this del square is given by, the del square is simply given by, so del square is equals to, in general, if you consider only the Cartesian coordinates, this is given by dou square by dou x square plus dou square by dou y square plus dou square by dou z square. So like that, if you consider only the Cartesian coordinates, you have x, y, z. But when you consider the spherical polar coordinates, you are having the r part and theta part and the phi part. So that means we have to have three parts. So del square of psi of r comma theta comma phi. So in this we are having a radial part as well as the angular part. And in turn in the angular part we are having theta part and phi part. So this is the del square, the function in spherical polar coordinates. And when you consider the angular momentum L square is given by Lx square plus Ly square plus Lz square. And when this is operating on psi, we'll get L square psi is equals to Lx square plus Ly square plus Lz square of psi. And the value of L square, if you consider, it is given by minus h cut square of 1 by sin theta into dou by dou theta of sin theta dou by dou theta plus 1 by sin square theta into dou square by dou psi square. So this can be replaced by the L square psi. So the total angular part is replaced by this L square psi. So where L is the angular momentum operator. So substituting the equation 5 in equation 4, we'll get del square psi is equals to 1 by r square into dou by dou r of r square dou psi by dou r minus L square by h cut square r square of psi. Since here we are having L square psi is equals to this much, and if you bring this h cut square this side, you will be left with L square by h cut square, and r square is already there. So L square by h cut square r square into psi. So this is by substituting the equation 5 in equation 4. So that is the value of del square psi. And this equation, substituting the equation 6 in the equation 2, we get, that is substituting the value of del square in the Schrodinger time independent equation. We have 1 by r square into dou by dou r of r square dou psi by dou r minus L square psi by h cut square r square. So this is the value of del square psi plus 2 mu by h cut square into e minus v of r into psi is as it is. So we have del square psi plus 2 mu by h cut square into e minus v of r into psi is equal to 0. That is in the Schrodinger's time independent equation. So in that equation we substituted the value of del square psi here. So since the eigenvalues of the operator are L square psi is equal to L into L plus 1 h cut square psi. So by substituting the values of angular momentum value in the above equation, we have 1 by r square into dou by dou r of r square dou psi by dou r minus L into L plus 1 h cut square by h cut square into r square into psi plus 2 mu by h cut square into e minus. So we are substituting the value of the potential of the hydrogen atom, that is V of r is equals to minus k e square by r into psi is equals to 0. So this is 1 by r square dou by dou r of r square dou psi by dou r is as it is plus. So we are taking all the terms in one bracket. So this is 2 mu by h cut square into, so this is e as it is minus. So here we are having this one L plus L1 into h cut square by h cut square, this is cancelled. So when you are taking 2 mu by h cut square as common in this factor, so we'll have L into L plus 1 h cut square by 2 mu into r square. for this term, and this is minus into minus plus k E square by r square into psi. So this is the equation in polar coordinates for the hydrogen atom. So y of theta comma phi into 1 by r square into dou by dou r into r square, dou r of dou r capital dou that is dou capital R of r by dou r plus 2 mu by h cut square into e minus L plus 1 into h cut square by 2 mu r square plus k e square by r into r of r into y of theta comma phi. Since the psi is a function of both radial and that is the angular part, so it is consisting of two parts. So we are using the two parts here. So this is the angular part and this is the radial part, and this is the radial part and this is the angular part. So dividing the above equation by y of theta comma phi, we get if you divide this equation by y of theta comma phi, we are left with y 1 by r square into dou by dou r of r square into dou capital R of r by small r plus 2 mu by h cut square into e minus L plus L into L plus 1 h cut square by 2 mu r square plus k e square by r of r, that is capital R of r is equals to 0. So this is the equation, the differential equation we have as a radial part. So we can use the method of separation of variables for calculating the radial part and angular part separately, and we are left with in the equation 8 we are having the radial part equation, and the radial part equation we can solve this equation by considering the Hermite polynomials once again, but the solution of the equation is beyond our scope of our syllabus. So that if we solve the above equation, we get the eigenvalues of the problem. That's what we can say. So upon solving, so if you solve this, we get the value for E as minus mu into e power 4 by 8 epsilon naught square into n square into h square, where n is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 and so on and so forth. And in general for any z, this is for the first hydrogen atom. And in case for in general for any z, if you want to write for E is equals to minus mu into z square e to the power of 4 by 8 epsilon naught square n square h square. So these are the energy eigenvalues of hydrogen atom for the ground state of hydrogen atom with z is equals to 1 and n is equals to 1. So this one. So if you substitute n is equals to 1, you will get minus 13.6 electron volts. So this is the ground state energy of the hydrogen atom. So the ground state energy of hydrogen atom is solved by considering the potential energy of the hydrogen atom experienced due to the Coulombic forces, and we substituted that in the Schrodinger time independent equation, and we considered the wave function as the function of a radial part as well as angular part, that is psi of psi is considered as psi of r comma theta comma phi, where r is the radial part and theta and phi are the angular parts. So we can write psi of r comma theta comma phi is equals to r of r into y of theta comma phi, where r of r is the radial part and y of theta comma phi is the angular part. So we can substitute this equation, that the wave function in the time independent equation and the potential, and we can use the method of separation of variables for the solution of the equation. And if we solve that equation, we will get the energy values as E is equals to minus mu into e power 4 by 8 epsilon naught square n square h square, where n is equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3 and so on and so forth. When you substitute n is equals to 1, you will get the energy of the hydrogen atom in its ground state. So that is given by E of 1 is equals to minus 13.6 electron volts. So this is about the estimation of energy of the hydrogen, the ground state energy of the hydrogen atom. So far we discussed about the estimation of the ground state energy of the harmonic oscillator and the estimation of the ground state energy of the hydrogen atom using the Schrodinger's time independent equation. So these are the applications of Schrodinger equation. So these not only these are the applications, but there are many applications of Schrodinger equation. So in our syllabus we are having these two. That's the reason we are discuss these two applications. So this is about the applications of Schrodinger equation, and thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for patient listening. Thank you.